Okay, let's dive right into this. We're about to explore an idea that honestly feels like it's pulled straight from a movie, but it's getting more real every single day. We're talking about a digital afterlife, a ghost built entirely from your own data.
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if you could ask your grandmother for her secret recipe just one more time? Or get some career advice from a mentor who's no longer with us?
You see, what we're talking about here isn't just flipping through old photo albums or rereading letters. That's all passive stuff, just looking back at memories. This is about creating a real dynamic interaction. It's a huge shift from simply remembering people to actually engaging with them. So the big question is, how is this even possible, right? How do you take a whole lifetime of experiences, of thoughts, of quirks, and turn it into a thinking, talking digital person? Well, let's take a look at the blueprint. It pretty much boils down to four major stages. First, you have to gather everything, and I mean everything. A person's entire digital footprint, their physical records, a complete life archive. Then, you build a realistic 3D avatar so you can actually see them. After that, you train an AI to communicate not just with their words, but in their unique style. And finally, the most important step of all, you simulate their core personality, their very essence. Now, what's so fascinating here is the transformation it shows. All that raw data on the left, your emails, your social media rants, your vacation videos, the AI sifts through all of it to reconstruct the things on the right, the intangible stuff, your specific sense of humor, your deepest beliefs, even the little way you might pause before telling a good story. And look, this isn't some far-off futuristic dream. It's being built with tools that exist right now. Things like LiDAR scanning. Yeah, the same tech that self-driving cars use to create hyper-realistic 3D models. Motion capture to give it natural movement. And of course, the big ones, the large language models and voice synthesizers we've all seen exploding in power lately. That's what gives your digital twin its voice and its mind. So we've got the blueprint, we've got the tools, but what actually happens when you put it all together and flip the switch? This is where we get to meet the digital twin. And this right here is the absolute crucial point. A digital twin isn't just a fancy search engine for someone's life, and it's not a simple chatbot spitting out pre-programmed answers. It's designed to be a dynamic model. It doesn't just repeat what a person said in the past, it's built to reason and interact based on the personality it has learned. This quote illustrates the idea perfectly. See, this isn't a memory, it's a simulated opinion. The digital twin can take its foundational personality, the person from back in 2026, and apply it to new information, forming completely new thoughts about events that happened long after the real person was gone. Let that sink in for a minute. The goal isn't just to make a parrot that repeats old stories. The goal is to create an AI that can generate new responses, new ideas, and new conversations, all filtered through the unique lens of the person it represents. It's not a static monument, it's a living, evolving archive. But, and this is a huge but, this incredible potential brings us to a massive crossroads, one that's just filled with these profound ethical questions that, honestly, we're only just beginning to figure out how to ask. I mean, think about it. Who owns your digital ghost? Can it be used in advertising? What does it do to the grieving process for a family to be able to interact with an AI of someone they've lost? And looming over all of this is the biggest question of them all: consent. You, your family, some corporation? All of a sudden, this isn't some philosophical debate anymore. It's a very practical and very legal question that we need to answer, and fast. And this really is the central dilemma. On one hand, you have this scenario where a person actively chooses this while they're alive. They say, yes, archive me, and here are the rules. But what happens if the decision is made for them after they're gone? Does a family have the right to create a digital version of you? The ethical lines here get very blurry, very, very quickly. Despite all these challenges, though, we have to consider what this technology could mean for the future, for memory, for history, and for what we all leave behind. The potential uses are just staggering. Imagine an interactive history lesson where you could actually ask a digital Einstein about his theories, or therapeutic tools that could help people process grief by allowing them to have one last conversation. It could be used for education, for companionship, or simply to preserve a family's living history for generations to come. Ultimately, what we're talking about is a complete redefinition of what legacy even is. It's no longer just about the stories we tell or the photos we leave, but about leaving a piece of our interactive consciousness behind for the future.
So, as we wrap this up, I'll leave you with this one last thought. If you could program one final message, one core idea into your own digital twin for future generations to hear, what would you want it to be?